Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with the Weather Report, the North Georgia edition, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers and YouTube members here on May 1st, 2026. It also happens to be Free Sampler Friday, so it's free for everybody here on Facebook and on YouTube. It's your opportunity perhaps becoming a subscriber and a member to help support our efforts here to build a professional 24-hour weather channel. We do appreciate you coming on board. All right, let's go ahead and start off with a live look here at Helen, Brazelton, Blairsville, Dahlonega. We're going to see a little sunshine initially this morning. Again, some partly sunny skies. The further south you go, the more cloud cover you're going to see. And eventually we're going to get some rain for tonight. We're still tracking that. We'll update you on the totals here on this report. We'll talk about your forecast on Sunday, which is still looking a little bit on the nippy side. Could see some scattered frost on Sunday morning for some of the higher elevations. And then as we go into next week, we got another round of rain coming at us here to track toward Wednesday and Thursday. We'll talk about that in greater detail as well. Plus, what I suspect will be a pattern change coming our way sometime around the middle of the month. So those below normal temperatures that are going to be with us here to start the month, I don't think will be around for the second half of the month. And I think we'll probably go back to a dry weather pattern as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into all of this. As you can see, folks out and about here getting their day started there in Helen and Blairsville. Again, we're seeing a little bit of sunshine out there, but we'll take a tour around here a little bit. Here, Brasstown Bald is reporting in at 38 degrees this morning. A bit nippy out there despite those high clouds out there. Of course, we saw the folks there at the Blairsville Square. They're just going about their business, getting ready to start. A little more sunshine up there across northeast Georgia here for this morning. Lake Lanier also seeing some filtered sunshine to start our day here. We're going to be fighting those clouds for this afternoon. Now that's looking very evident here. Over toward the UGA campus, also looking at mostly cloudy skies here for this morning as folks getting their day started over that way or near Sanford Stadium. Helen, Georgia. Nice looking sunrise coming in over the mountains there. 51 degrees there under cloudy skies here for this morning. So as we take a look at our satellite picture here, you can kind of idea of what's going on. You can see where those clouds are. You got the extreme North Georgia looking a little more sunshine up here, but we do have these clouds that are moving this way. Got some thunderstorms down here toward Texas this morning, but these thunderstorms are going to stay here to the south. Okay, we're not going to worry about any thunderstorms coming in this weekend. We're just talking about plain old rains here for our area. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you the outlook here for today as well as for tomorrow. So there you can see the general thunderstorm threat basically south of Atlanta. You got a marginal risk for severe weather down here toward the Gulf Coast, and then this will shift over into tomorrow down across a slight risk there across the parts of the Florida Panhandle, heading down to Florida, extreme southeast Georgia, but North Georgia, no, we're looking pretty good. All quiet here. We don't have to worry about any severe threats for us. Just plain old rain. That's what we're expecting here for the weekend. Let's look at our surface map here as we got to get things started. Again, seeing a lot of this rain, this steady rain, and this is where the heavy rain is going to fall. The question is, where does that line set up in here, okay? Because it's kind of trending downward, so you folks up the extreme northwest Georgia may not get any rain at all. It may be south, but it is a very sharp drop-off between who gets the decent rains and who gets nothing here, and I'll show you that in the model data here in just a second. Get a few sprinkles down here across south Georgia, or south of Atlanta here for this morning. Again, not really amounting to anything here, but it's there, so you kind of see this on the radar here as I got that right down there. You see it looping. Some of this is sprinkling down here, but again, you see North Georgia. No, we're good. We're looking all right here for this morning. Not expecting any rain until we get into tonight and going in toward tomorrow morning. All right, let's go ahead and get into your model update here first. We're going to first take a look at the latest NAM model here as we'll be kind of tracking that rain. Watch that little timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner as we go through. Again, today, it's not looking bad. We're looking all right. But notice as we go into this evening, we're going to start shrinking those rain showers coming back at us. Again, a lot of this is going to be very light. Again, you kind of see where the heavier rains are down here to the south. Here, this stuff's really heavy down here. So as we track this on through, looks like this should be done by the time we get to around noontime or so on Sunday. We should be, or Saturday, moving on out. And then Sunday's looking pretty good. Sunday, obviously, I've been saying that all week. It's going to be the better of the 2 days. So rain coming in Friday night and ending sometime Saturday morning. And then Sunday's looking pretty good. All right, that's our timing. No changing on that. Now, this is what I want to point out. This is the NAM model. Look at this. Up here, extreme northwest Georgia, it's showing nothing. But look how quickly we go to, all that yellow's 1 inch. 1 inch, this goes off to drops off to a half inch, drops to just a quarter inch. It drops off significantly. So depending on where that line shield sets up, and we're talking tens of miles here, guys. So, could shift back to the north, could shift south. We just got to watch it. But some decent rains, at least down here in South Georgia. They're going to get some decent rains down here. That'll help with the fire conditions down that way. So there's a positive on that. This goes till Sunday at 2 o'clock, and they're going to add some more to that as that rain clears on out. All right, so looking at your temperatures to this afternoon, upper 60s, low 70s around, the western areas being low 70s, but looking at 60s for overnight, for daytime highs today. And then overnight lows for tomorrow morning, we'll see, mostly 40s and 50s. It'll be the wet weather coming in, kind of a damp day. And then we'll kind of be watching to wait for that rain to move on out. It'll definitely play a factor. So by the time we get to 5 o'clock, notice how much warmer it is here to the west because the rains and clouds are clearing out. Still holding on to the 50s here to the east. So it's going to be a tricky day for those forecast highs for Saturday. But we'll clear that out. And then going into your Sunday morning, it's going to be a bit nippy out there. We got some 30s up here across North Georgia. Once again, I think the higher elevations will see some scattered frost around. And again, nothing too widespread. In most areas, it'll be in the 40s. So it'll be a jacket morning going into your Sunday morning. And then warming up there in the afternoon, still mostly in the 60s here as we head toward 2 o'clock. So definitely a below normal day. Keep in mind, we're now into May. We're supposed to be in the upper 70s this time of year. So definitely below normal temperatures there. Now, let's talk about the jet stream, all right? Now, the way this thing is configured right now is we're going to continue with these these cooler shots that are going to continue to kind of come down here for right now. This is what we got coming in for this weekend, and then we got another one coming in here toward the later of the week. But we are going to start seeing some subtle changes here. Here's another dive down as these two jets kind of marry up again, and this comes up heading toward Thursday. So we got another cool shot coming on down there. This will be a pretty decent system with some showers and storms with this. If we have severe, maybe marginal, but I'm not overly concerned about it right now as this moves on out. And then we got this little upper feature back here that's kicking on out, but I'm clearly seeing here toward the end here, this jet stream is starting to shift back to the north, okay? Now, as it does that, that's going to allow the warm air to really start to build up in here. So what I'm thinking right now is right through about the 14th or so, we'll stay with below normal temperatures. Once we get to the middle of the month, I think it's going to flip. Just looking at how a normal pattern change takes place, I think we go to above normal temperatures for the second half of the month, and probably you're drying out too on top of that. So let's take whatever rain we can get here, but the drought's not done, folks, by any stretch. To fight the rains we're getting, it's not enough, okay? It may temporarily bring it down a little bit, but I got a funny feeling it's going to go back up again as we go into late May and going into June, especially as things begin to heat up. All right, so here we're watching the blues. That's our trophiness. That's our storm systems. That's the opportunities for rain. The oranges and reds are your high pressure, right? So watch the anomaly map here as we got that big dip here for the weekend, and then we got this next one coming in here. This is the next one coming in here for Thursday. So this comes in, another good rain push coming in here for Wednesday, Thursday, and that moves on out. Then look what happens here as we get toward the end of this. We're starting to see that high pressure start to reestablish itself back across our area as the jet stream starts to shift back to the north. So with that jet stream and that storm track kind of shifting back up here, we're going to see things warm up and dry up here as we head toward the middle of the month. So like I said, the changes are coming at us, looks like. We'll see how it looks like as we go into next week, and we'll look at the model continuity, but I do suspect that will take place. Now, as far as our precipitation concerns, again, the Europeans showing the same thing. Notice how northwest Georgia not showing anything, heavier rains to the south. Where does that rain shield set up? That's going to be the big thing as this comes in. That's the only question mark, really, for Saturday is who gets the rain, who gets left out, and how much we get. That's going to be the thing we're going to track here. It's kind of moving into nowcast mode here. And then we're going to watch our next rain event coming in for your Wednesday, Thursday. So as we go into later in the week, here comes our next storm system here. Boom. Pretty good rain showing up in there going in toward Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So again, this is coming in at night, so not the best heating there. So that's why I think if we have anything severe, it'll be marginal at best. But I'm not expecting anything major here. I think just some rain and some thunder thrown in there. This moves on through. And looks like we cool off there, look again, and then we got another system coming on in here. Here's another one over toward the 12th. So we got another one on the 12th. And then we got another one coming in here on the 15th. All right, so we got a couple more rain events in there, despite the fact the jet stream's starting to shift back to the north, and we're going to see things begin to warm up as well. All right, so here's our rain totals. This is our 10-day rain total, still showing a good coverage here across the state of Georgia. Again, taking into account all those different rain events. Not drought busting, but definitely it will help, and we'll definitely take what we can get at this point to help with our drought. And then this is the other part of the story. I got the blues and greens. That's below normal temperatures. Now watch what happens here as we go through go to the end of this period. So we got the cool down for this weekend. We're going to briefly warm up. We get a little bit above there, but here comes our next front. Going to Thursday, we're going to below normal once again going into the next weekend. And it kind of stays that way right through the 11th and 12th. And then, we're back to normal by the time we get to the 13th. And here comes the reds coming back at us. We're warming back up again as we get to the end of this run, 5 degrees above normal. So it means temperatures getting back in the mid-80s, I'd say, as we get toward Friday. So we got a warm-up coming there as we get toward the end of the 15th. And I think that above normal temperatures are going to stick around as we head toward the second half of the month. All right, so let's go look at our temperature again. Morning lows on Sunday. Here's 39, 34, 34. Again, I suspect some frost up there across the northeast Georgia mountains. That'll be coming in for your Sunday morning. And then your daytime highs on Sunday, mostly 60s again. And there's even 59 up there. So it's going to be a coolish Sunday. Definitely not May-like. It's going to be very chilly. And then we'll see things begin to modify a bit as we go into your Monday morning, mostly in the 40s here on Monday morning. Still a jacket start. And then Monday afternoon, we'll warm back up into the upper 60s, 70s, start to warm back up again. And then going into your Tuesday afternoon, 70s. Still, there's 69 in Blairsville, but 70s. They're getting closer to normal as we go toward that. But here comes that cold front. You clearly see it right there. Here's our cold front coming at us here as we go into Wednesday. So Wednesday's highs, you see low 80s starting to sneak back up in here, 70s, 60s as we're waiting for that front to move on through. Here it comes on through, coming on Thursday. So, again, going into Friday morning, we're cold again, back here in the 40s once again. Not as cold as it was showing yesterday. That's the only thing that's a little different from yesterday's run. And then daytime highs on Friday, we're back into the 60s again. So we're back, so we're 60s after that cool down, it's a little 70s. So below normal going into that following weekend. And looks like that holds true right into that week. In the next weekend. There's Sunday morning, definitely kind of a coolish day there, and back in the 60s the following weekend. So you get the point. We're below normal temperatures there. We got a brief warm up for a couple days, and then we're cool this weekend, cool the following weekend. But I'm gonna take this all the way out to the end of this run. Check what happens here as we go to the like the 14th. Back here come the 80s again. See, the 80s are all widespread, so we're going to warm right back up here again, and this will go right into Friday as well. Look at all the 80s back in here. So we're going to warm back up as we head toward the middle of the month. All right, so let's look at the climate outlook here. Obviously, below normal temperatures, that's the big story. That's going to hold there. They're still keeping us a bit on the wet side, but first let me take you through the climate outlook here first as we go through this, as we're going to be seeing, again, below normal temperatures sticking with us here for a little bit longer. So we're talking about this takes us from the 6th to the 10th, and then this takes us from the 8th to the 14th. So 14th might start the transition, at least based off what we're seeing there. It keeps us wet. That's the good news there. We'll definitely take that. That stays with above normal precipitation here from going into next week, and it kind of holds there going into the 14th. So hopefully we'll get some more rains in here, help with the drought, but I do suspect warm weather and a pattern flip. We dry back out the second half of the month. That's what I'm seeing here for right now. All right. So anyway, looks like a good weekend ahead. If once we get past the rain coming in here for this upcoming tonight and tomorrow morning, should start to clear by tomorrow afternoon, and then Sunday's looking pretty good, although a touch on the cool side. So just get ready for that. Again, I appreciate you guys being supporters here on the channel as we continue to plug right along here, getting set to make probably a big purchase here soon with some cameras that we're going to try to get our own camera network built out here. So we're going to get that going here hopefully by the summer. So we'll see how things get going on there. And eventually, obviously, we want to get that weather computer, which will make my life a whole lot easier and be able to serve you guys a whole lot better. So anyway, that's it for now. Y'all take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on Monday. You guys have a great and safe weekend. Bye-bye.